I just had this major epiphany about how the fastest way to center yourself in your life is through Eros. And this is something I've thought a million times before, but I just connected all of these dots about it. I'm kind of excited. Okay, to share it with you. By Eros, I mean the energy of aliveness. And aliveness is erotic. This is the animating force. This is what makes the flower bloom. This is what kids, the stereotype about kids, I know kids grow up in all sorts of situations and all sort of temperaments, but the stereotype about kids, that they're just so present and they're able to lose themselves in play, that's Eros at work. The thing that happens when you're drunk, the thing where men get drunk and they're like, I love you, man, and everything they've been repressing that they're not allowed to say because they're too scared of, because their homophobia made them scared, and then they get drunk and they can be like, touching each other and like, you're my best friend and all that stuff. That's Eros. And then the thing that happens when we get drunk and we're like, so you don't know me, who do you think you are? And then, start flashing and stuff. That's our Eros coming online. And so much of this world, it's like we have to like be people and we have to be in the world and we have to and control and live in our heads all the time. And so the reason why people associate the erotic with just romantic and schmexual connection is because for the most part, that's one of the only places we have in this messed up, deanimate, backwards ass society. That is one of the only places where you actually get to pursue pleasure. You get to follow your drives to open, to penetrate, to explore, to get into a more energetic, toned, and textured experience, to actually be in your body. We only have these very limited places where that can even be permissioned at all. And one of them is in the romantic and schmexual experience. But this is it's part of a larger matrix, because it's precisely that erotic aliveness that has been policed and siphoned and controlled. It's like, all these powers that be or whatever, they basically turned the earth into an energy farm. And one of the greatest sources of energy is us and is our Eros. And so you can kind of like look at this undergird of history as this drive to control the Eros. And that's why they go to all these beautiful places on the planet. And that's why they go to colonize places where Eros is still alive and destroy the people there, and then police and siphon and control. Are you starting to see the picture? Which is also why reclaiming or staying connected to Eros is such a profound act of resistance. That's why there's this amazing guy on TikTok. He was saying, my Colombian ancestors, my Cuban ancestors knew that it's not like you have to wait until you're safe to be able to be in your Eros. That it's actually the connection to the Eros. It's being able to actually feel the ground under your feet. It's being able to dance. It's being able to sing. It's being connected to your heart and your capacity and your passion and your love and your pain. That is the safety. It is a kind of safety. And this idea that we've adopted from this Western colonial whatever thing, that like, once I'm safe, then I can open, has been a meaningful and totally reasonable and valid response to these violent circumstances that we've all been born into. But it is also the colonial answer to those circumstances, where it's like, that's right, you're not safe. That's right, shut it down. That's right, live in your head, run, hide. Only in these particular pens where I say it's okay for you to do it, where I say it's safe for you to do it, you can do it. And we're like, yes, daddy, yes. And then we turn around and we eroticize precisely those men who, check it out for yourself, but what I've noticed with a lot of women is they end up eroticizing exactly that archetype of man. Tall, burly, dominant, controlling, successful, I got you, daddy types. They eroticize exactly that kind of guy who is energetically resonant with this colonizer type, who's then going to be like, yeah, come to me and then open, and then I'll open you, baby girl. Which is just saying, like, I agree to the colonialism. I agree to the subjugation. I agree that only with you I'm going to open. Only with you I'm going to give you my love and my erotic access. Only with you do I feel safe enough to enter into what is my birthright, my essence, the actual source of my aliveness. So there's like an undergrid to human history, which is actually the story of Eros as it's moving through time and moving through this transition into this planet becoming an energy farm for these different current powers of domination and extraction. And you can also look at your own personal life, because I'll tell you, 99% of me centering men was actually just because I was yearning so profoundly for spaces to reconnect with the erotic. And yet I would say, please take me away. Please take me away from this mundane, horrible nightmare world. Please let me enter into this space where I can be embodied, where I can be in pleasure, where I can be in the expansive power of love and limerence. Like that was like my drug of choice. So backwards, because I would be seeing them as like the gatekeeper that actually allows me to get back in touch with my own life force and my own magic and essence. Like if you do it right, random man, stranger, then I can access myself. It is so disempowering, it's crazy. And then of course you put your chips in with these guys, and what do? They turn around and they, surprise, surprise, control you. And they were originally attracted to your Eros, and now it makes them feel insecure or threatened, and they just want to shut it down. They want to clamp it down on it. So there's this moment in my last relationship where it was so sad and so dry and devoid of Eros that I used to watch YouTube videos in the basement. I would hide in the basement because that was like the only space that was sort of mine. And I saw this video of these people dancing bachata. And it was just like this sexy teenager dance. And it was embodying this Eros. And I was like, that, I want that. And so I am going to my first bachata congress ever. And I was like, well, I want to be Eros. I want to like soul retrieve myself. And so I got all these little cute outfits. I like went to the thrift store and just got all these outfits just for dancing, which I would never wear, but I'll show you the outfits. That's the experiment, is me showing you outfits and explaining to you my personal story. I know, right? What a fun experiment for me. So here's the story, right? Because when I was little, I was like a mega tomboy. And what I realized is when I was looking around, look at this little fairy outfit. Isn't that crazy? It like has like some booty with these little built-in shorts. Into it. So when I was a kid, I was a mega tomboy. Mega tomboy. Like people thought I was a boy. And what I realized is being a boy when I was younger was actually the smartest and safest option for me to be able to express Eros. Because when you're a boy, you get to run around, right? I got to roll in the dirt. I got to be free in this way that little boys get to be. I played sports. I got to like mouth off and talk shit and wear these big baggy clothes that let me move all over the place, compared to all the girls that I knew who were like stuck wearing like these little frilly outfits and like sitting and doing sticker books. When I hit puberty, I developed early and my voice changed and everyone knew I was a girl. And then I was like violently indoctrinated into girl world, which was essentially a mega clampdown on Eros. It was, we would practice walking and you had to control your body, and we were all on diets because that was the era. I think you get it, that the process of being socialized as a woman is a process of learning how to police your own Eros. And then you see men as the only place in which you can bring that out again. That's a little red top. Especially, I grew up in the hood. Old men started following me home when I was 11 and wearing a hoodie. It didn't even matter. So my inner teen just shut it down. She didn't think she could wear little pink, spanky shorts like this. So now I'm going dancing. It's like an ode of connecting to my inner teen, reclaiming the protector, reclaiming the Eros. In this context, that is safe and has accountability.